Hello and welcome back to True Crime Guys podcast. I'm your host Michael, and Andy is here with me, of course, on this Friday morning.
I feel like this podcast today, we're gonna be breaking the fourth wall a lot, our character we're talking about today.
We kind of have to.
Yeah, I feel like we're gonna be talking directly to the audience this time.
Yeah, just like Deadpool.
Just like Wade Wilson.
This guy really has nothing in common with other than the name.
Yeah, other than that, yeah.
Yeah, and a fucked up face.
He does now, yeah. I was going to say the fucked up face, and I'm guessing probably the baby dick that he has when Deadpool gets ripped in half. I bet he probably has the baby dick in common. But yes, we'll get to that.
But guys, before we get into that, I must remind you that you can catch these episodes early and ad-free with some bonus content. I think we jacked our jaws for about 19 minutes or so before we started this episode. And we always throw that at the end of the episode on Patreon for you guys to sit, hang out, chill with us, decompress after these heavy stories that we be bringing you here. But again, that's patreon.com/True Crime Guys. There's a link right below the description of this episode. But here on the free platform, we have a ton of content for you, like our other show, Strange and Unexplained, and a newcomer to the network, Cryptic Soup, with hosts Thina and Kylie. They release new episodes every single Wednesday. It's everything from paranormal to true crime to missing persons. They're right in the TCG vein. Tons of extra content for you guys. And make sure you give them a follow at Cryptic Soup Pod on Instagram as well. Also, make sure you check out the True Crime Guys YouTube and smash that subscribe button, as they say, and give us a follow on social media as well at True Crime Guys at all of the social medias. Pretty much, right, Andy?
The only one we have. I think the only one we don't have now is like a Reddit account, maybe.
We just lurk on Reddit.
Yeah.
But guys, today we are talking Wade Wilson. And not Deadpool Wade Wilson.
Not the good one.
No, we don't do that here. We don't have a pop culture podcast yet.
I could talk a lot about
Andy will definitely be your host on that one.
You want to talk about Wade Wilson?
No, but today we're talking about a different Wade Wilson. On the morning of October 7th, 2019, in Cape Coral, Florida, two women were brutally murdered. 35-year-old Kristine Melton was strangled to death as she slept in her bed. Then, just hours later, Diane Ruiz, 43, was strangled, beaten, and pushed out of a car, which belonged to Kristine Melton, and was run over repeatedly. But, luckily for everyone, the killer was arrested almost immediately because he called his father, confessing to the whole thing, even telling his dad where he was at the moment, Andy.
Yeah, and not even in like a daddy come help me way.
No, just kind of bragging, like he wanted to share the experience with someone.
Yeah, kind of like, hey, Dad, look what I did today.
Exactly. He was quite excited. And that gentleman was Wade Wilson. He was 25 years old at the time, and he was arrested the very next day and charged with killing both women.
And let's not forget the assault on the third.
Don't forget that. And the why. Why?
There's so much why we need to figure out.
So much why. So let's get into it. Roll that intro, Andy.
But I'm never going to see you again now. Everything's going for you.
Baby, will you please see me again? This is going to ruin my life if you never see me again, please.
Your life is ruined, babe. What do you not understand? You can't.
Yeah, but if I have you in my, at least if I have you in my life, I won't feel like it's over, you know? Mila, I understand, Mila, I don't want to be alone without you. I really love you, baby. I'm sorry.
You should kill people, motherfucker.
Okay, mother. I know. I don't want to talk about this.
Well, you don't have to, but you have to explain something to me.
What is it?
And the other girl, why? She was walking to work, motherfucker.
Yeah, no. I know.
Why?
Mila.
Why didn't you just rob her? Why did you have to kill her?
Because I was freaking out on the drugs. I was on the drugs. The drugs had me fucking...
Ma'am.
Mila, please don't do this to us right now. Please. Listen, I know... And listen to me. I'm fine. I know you're gonna another man that's free. Obviously, I know that.
I can't date you. You killed two women and you tried to murder me. I think you would have killed me too.
Baby, that's you better believe that ever.
Did you go to Josh's house and say you killed somebody? Did you go to Josh's?
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
Because Mila. You know what, Mila? I'm gonna be honest with you. All because of you. All because you caused the scene and I couldn't tell you what I had done, and you were outside with your...
Did you kill her and then try to kill me and then go try to kill the other girl? And
no, I tried to I tried to come see you to tell you what I had done.
Yeah, but did you kill the second girl at that point?
No. I think I killed her later.
You think?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. I killed her after I saw you.
These
What,
are like usually things that people remember when they kill somebody.
I killed her after I saw you.
Why? Why could you just rob her? Why did you have to kill her?
I'm sorry. I don't know.
Why? I kind of want to know why. What was going through your head when you're killing her? So I heard that you choked her out. She didn't die. She got up and ran. You ran her over with the car. Is that how it went?
That is, yeah, it is. She didn't get up and run. She didn't get up and run. That's not true. I choked her out, pushed her out of the car, and then I ran her over with the car.
How did you get her in the car?
She got in by herself.
So she got in the car by herself.
Yeah.
And you took her out in the car.
Yeah.
Pushed her out of the car, and then you
ran her over. Yeah, like 10
Do you
times.
not hear yourself?
Yes, Mila. I do. I hear myself.
Does this sound like something that you want to be saying out loud? Can you believe that you've done this?
No, I can't. I really can't. I was on drugs, dude. I really can't believe it.
I didn't know you were a killer. I didn't know you could kill somebody.
You knew I was a killer. Stop it.
Did not know you were a killer.
So you thought all the story, you thought when I told you I'm a killer, I was lying?
Yeah, I did, actually.
Well, I wasn't lying.
All right, so Wade Wilson was born on May 20th, 1994, and he grew up in Tallahassee, Florida. Wilson's biological parents were just teenagers at the time. They were 14 and 15 years old. And they really didn't feel that they could raise him properly, and they eventually gave him up for adoption.
Now, it does kind of suck nowadays. It's not like suck. It's just hard getting to the point now in our lives where we're reading and like researching stories about people who were younger than us.
Yeah.
And just being like, wow. Yeah, world keeps on moving, doesn't it?
It just keeps on moving, Andy.
God, crime does not stop, does it?
No, it does not. So, Wade wasn't even a real Wilson.
No.
Honestly. He was adopted. His adoptive parents, Cindy and Steve Wilson, described Wade as a joyful child who loved his parents. But they also said Wade became delusional after he got addicted to drugs. Well, that tends to happen.
Sometimes, yeah.
That tends to happen sometimes. He attended Childs High School and has quite a rap sheet in Leon County going all the way back to 2012, including sexual assault, burglary, child cruelty, and firearms offenses. And to make things worse, Wilson was incarcerated in the Florida Department of Corrections on burglary and grand theft convictions from November 26 of 2013 to September of 2014. Then he served a second prison sentence for firearms theft from October of 2017 to July of 2018. So just under a year both times.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't get more of jail time for even some of the other charges he has. Like the fact that he only got real sentences for those crimes, right? It's just amazing. That's how our justice system works.
It really is. You would think that the punishments would continue to get severe with these repeat offenders, but it's like, oh, nope, this is a completely different thing. This is not what he did last time.
Yeah, he's just
it's
like,
like, as long as you do different crimes.
Yeah, he's just moving down the boxes. He's just checking them off as he goes.
Oh, he's checking them off. That's for sure.
With how many crimes the length of this man's rap sheet before we get to the events, where the main events of this case.
Yeah,
it's like this man should have been locked up for a lot longer already.
Absolutely, absolutely. There were tons of signs, like in 2015 when he was charged with sexual battery and kidnapping in Tallahassee, but he was ultimately acquitted. And it's worth noting that in 2018, he emerged as a person of interest, but was never charged in the Tallahassee murder case of Denise Williams. Now, this was regarding the death of her husband at the time, Mike Williams. Denise was plotting with her lover, Brian Winchester. They were trying to make her husband's death look like a boating accident.
Okay.
So his disappearance in 2000 was one of Tallahassee's most complex mysteries, until investigators finally brought charges against Brian Winchester and then later Denise Williams. So Winchester, who testified against Denise Williams, told jurors that he tried to get Wilson, one of his jailmates, to fabricate some type of evidence against Denise. And he said Wilson was totally down for this. And he would go as far as to actually kill Denise Williams for him. And that became not necessary because Denise was eventually sentenced to life in prison. But here's what Winchester said. He said, quote, Wade brought up he was a hitman. I didn't believe him. He did offer to make Denise go away and make other witnesses go away. And I told him, don't speak to me about that again, end quote.
It's one of those shady things that like kind of criminals get into in jail times where it's like, hey, I just wanted you to like plant some evidence. I just wanted you to like make it look bad for her. You're the one saying kill.
Whoa, hey.
But also this guy just being like, hey, I'm a hitman, professional, totally professional hitman. Yeah, really, what are you in here for? I stole a gun.
I stole it.
It's not a very professional hitman thing.
Well, maybe he is.
Not getting caught stealing the gun. Well, that's not a very professional hitman.
Not getting caught doing the murders, though.
Yeah. If you're already in here for stealing the gun, I don't think you're getting away with the murder, dog. Obviously later on. But yeah, if you're getting caught, if you're already going to jail for stealing the firearm, I'm going to go ahead and guess you're not getting away with whatever you're planning on using that firearm for.
Nobody said he was a brainiac, Andy.
No.
And that becomes clear throughout the story.
His face tattoos later on prove that.
They do. In February of 2019, a woman reported to the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office that Wilson, her ex-boyfriend, beat and strangled her. But unfortunately, authorities did not find probable cause to arrest Wade at the time.
Oh, not looking once at his previous rap sheet of aggressive offenses and being like,
no.
Yeah, it sounds probable.
Yeah. And on the night of October 7th, 2019, Wilson and his girlfriend at the time were getting into another little scuffle. Mm-hmm. They had gotten into an argument, and while they were out on the town, whatever, Wilson wanted to stay. She wanted to go home. So he basically takes her keys from her. She leaves, right? Mm-hmm. I guess she catches an Uber, a cab. I don't really know. Yeah,
she just left in a huff because they had already met another guy there, Jason. We'll get to him in just a minute. Yeah. They had met Jason. The three of them kind of hit it off, or more like Jason and Wade hit it off.
Right.
And they wanted to go back to Wilson's house, or to Jason's house.
Yeah.
And his girlfriend's like, no, I don't want to go back to this stranger's house we just met.
Right.
And basically
Wade
took her keys and was like, well, fuck you then.
Yep.
So she had to just leave angrily.
Basically.
So, yeah.
Basically. So now it's Wade, Jason, and Kristine Melton and her friend, Stephanie Sailors. So they're all hanging out at Buddha Live, which is a bar in Fort Myers, Florida. Kristine Melton, she grew up in Illinois. She moved in with a friend in Cape Coral, where she worked as a waitress. She was a godmother to her cousin's child, and she lived in Cape Coral, Florida. She loved to dress up, and her favorite holiday was Halloween.
I mean, mine too. So
I want to throw a little bit about the victims in here because not many people do.
Yeah, there's not a lot about the people he actually hurt in the material out there.
Exactly. Him getting famous on TikTok with those fucking tattoos and shit just kind of stole the whole damn show.
Yeah, him trying to become almost like a celebrity, which is just sickening to the extent of it. They've kind of skimmed over the real damage he did.
Exactly.
Which is very unfortunate.
Exactly. So, back at the bar, right? So it's Wilson, Jason Shepard, and Kristine and her friend Stephanie, right? So after the bar closed, Wilson and the two women went to the home of Jason Shepard, where they stayed for several hours. At the home of Jason Shepard, Kristine Melton and Wade hooked up, allegedly.
And remember, at this point, we know
this testimony from her friend.
Yeah, we had this testimony from Stephanie, and at this point, Wade has told everybody that he's with that his name is JR.
That's true. I forgot about that.
He hasn't even told everybody that his name is Wade.
They don't even know his real name.
Which, by the way, that's already a suspicious thing. Like, if your name is Wade Wilson, I would be introducing myself to everybody. I would just have a name tag.
Yeah.
Just like all the time. Like, yeah. Right. Like I have a bumper sticker.
So the next morning, Wilson offers to drive the girls home, but he can't drive the freaking car because it's a damn stick shift. So can't drive a stick shift. So they end up calling an Uber and they're like, whatever, we're going home. Well, he's like, well, I'm stranded. So can I just ride with you, I guess? So he jumps in the Uber with them and they go back to Kristine's house.
Mm-hmm. And at this point, Stephanie has testified where she says, like, at this point, he's JR. He's been very friendly to them. They have no reason to think he's anything bad. Like, he just seems like a guy they met at the bar. Yeah, he's got a lot of tattoos at this point. He doesn't have the face tattoos yet. He does have a big neck tattoo.
Right.
So that's obviously something. But like she's testified like that she did not feel threatened by him, that Kristine did not feel threatened by him, that there was no like violence or anything so far.
Not so
far. So like when they get in the car, he can't start it. The girls just want to go home. It's early hours of the morning, like 4 or 5 in the morning at this point. So they call an Uber and he's just like, yeah, well, why don't I just ride with you guys? And like I said, they don't care at this point. So he's not threatening. He's not. Yeah.
They're like,
he's just a new friend they met out at the bar.
Right.
So
they go back to Kristine's house, and Stephanie almost immediately heads back to her place because I'm guessing her car was probably there, right?
Well, she said she had to get back to work, had to take her kid to school.
She had to take her kids to school. Yeah, these party animals, right?
Yeah, it's 6 a.m.
Right.
She's testifying. She's like, it's 6 a.m.
You're 35 years old. No, I'm just kidding.
No, she's 43. No,
you're right. You're right.
No, Diane Ruiz is 43. One of the other victims.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, Stephanie is older than
she's like
Kristine,
mid-30s.
But yeah, it's 6 a.m. on a weeknight. And like she has to go to work and take her son to school.
Yeah.
Like that
so
day.
Either way, she has to leave.
Yeah, it's a long night.
And so now she's left Wade Wilson there with Kristine alone. And somewhere within that time, Wade ends up strangling her to death while she was asleep in her bed. And then he kind of spent some time at the house before he decided he, I guess, needed to get rid of the body. Mm-hmm. Finally, he kind of wised up to that. But unfortunately, now rigor mortis had set in and he couldn't move her body. So he ended up stealing her car. So this is something me and Andy had discussed earlier. He could have possibly killed her just for the car. Now, he is stranded.
Yeah, that's one thing, because there's a lot about this case, right? At this point, things kind of stop making sense. He's been this good guy all night to these girls.
Right.
I mean, they don't know that he's, yes, a douchebag who got in an argument with his girlfriend and like kicked her out that night. But he's gone home with them. He's gone to a stranger's house. He's hooked up with one of them. And now she's basically kind of like letting him crash there. Mm-hmm. And we kind of discussed this. We're like, it seems like he wanted the car because he wants to go to his girlfriend.
That's right.
He wants to go find
his girlfriend who stormed off earlier in the night. Yeah, he's going to find her with the car, and I think he's just seeing red at this point.
Yeah, something has snapped in this point where he's angry with his girlfriend. He is wanting to go get her or like go fight with her. He can't get there, so he wants this. I believe he wants this car.
Right.
So he feels like he either has to try and take it or something happens to where he ends up having to strangle her to death. And then he, like you said, he hangs out for a little bit.
Right.
So where he's kind of planning, what am I going to do? Whose fault is this? What happened? And that's where I think he's like, it's my girlfriend's fault. That's who made me do this. I'm going to go get her. So maybe
he could have rationalized it that way. Absolutely.
Maybe it was that kind of deal, or I kind of mixed my stories up a little bit there, but things just kind of stop making sense from this point to when he gets caught.
So at this point, he does, like Andy alluded to, he goes straight to find his girlfriend. And when he does find her, finally, they have an altercation, like in a public place. I think probably her place of work.
Yeah,
I believe
he called
it was.
her. Yeah, he called her, and she said, she said, "Come to my work."
Yeah, and they meet outside, and it gets physical. So physical, in fact, that a crowd has to intervene, and they basically scare Wade off. Mm-hmm. But he's still fuming, apparently, because just a short time later, he spots 43-year-old Diane Ruiz walking along a Cape Coral street. And he stops and pretends like he needs directions. And I'm guessing he says something to the effect of, well, could you just hop in and show me? Mm-hmm. Maybe he said something like that. But somehow she got in the car on her own. Yeah,
because she was only walking to work, and they said her work was like a mile from her house.
Right. So maybe he offered to give her a ride if she'd give him directions.
Which is such a bad thing in this day and age. It's like, this guy's not an Uber. This guy's not a Lyft. That's such a bad thing. So I really don't know how he got her in the car. They don't seem to understand how he convinced her to get in the car.
Yeah.
But as soon as she got in the car, again, I feel like he's just seeing red.
He is.
There's because what happens next, it doesn't really make sense.
It really doesn't. Diane Ruiz, she was 43 years old. She was a mother, and she was engaged to be married. She was described as caring and hardworking. At the time, she worked as a bartender at the Moose Lodge in Cape Coral, and she hadn't missed a bartending shift in 5 years.
Damn.
Not one. Tips must have been good as hell.
Yeah, probably.
But when Ruiz realized something was up and she tried to get out of the car, Wilson then attacked her, beating her and then strangling her. But he realized that she was still breathing. So he opened the passenger door, and pushed her out of the car, and then ran her over upwards of 20 times until she looked like spaghetti.
Which is what
That's
he
his
said.
words.
Yeah, that's what he tells his father on the phone, and it's just disgusting. Even when they talk about it in the courtroom, and they
Yes.
talk about this was not like a.
He immediately calls his father. Like
Yeah,
that
when he runs over her to make sure she's gone, he does it so many times to where it's disgusting. So there's no more like rationalizing this anymore. It's not something like it. There seems to be no rhyme or reason to the steps he starts making.
No,
so it's
doesn't.
weird now.
And, when he's describing these horrific events to his father almost is like in shock. Like it's just too much to take. Like he knows that his son is on drugs and experiments with all sorts of different drugs. And he also knows that he's a good storyteller. Mm-hmm. So he's kind of taking all this with a grain of salt. But at some point, by the second and third call, when he's still talking about this and, still can't get it off his mind and whatnot, he starts to think maybe there's something to this. So he puts the phone on speaker, and his wife calls the police and starts basically relaying the information that Wade is telling his father to the police. Mm-hmm. And
this is
including
this is his
location.
biological father.
This is his biological father,
Yeah.
who he connected with at 18. He's 25 at this time, so he's only known this man for 7 years.
Yeah.
So his father asked him for his location so he could send an Uber to him. That's how, that's
Yeah.
how he tricked him. And, he ain't got no money, apparently.
I mean, that's a pretty good, to be honest and to be fair
That's
right
not
now,
bad.
that is a pretty good move on his dad's part. That
Yeah,
is
pretty
the
smart.
best move right there, to tell him, where are you at? I'm going to send an Uber for you.
Yep.
But he has the police on the phone, so it works out amazingly.
It does, because old dad gave Wade's location to the police, and he was arrested on October 8th, 2019, at a vacant home that he was squatting in. Yeah, he had broken into this home after he killed Ruiz and was just kind of hanging out, just squatting there. And thank God nobody was at home, because he wouldn't have thought twice about killing them as well.
Mm-hmm. And remember, he did. They have the footage too, where the police do go and stop him. Like where his dad sends them to go find him, the police find him. Like a single cop finds him,
Right.
And like they stop him, and he's in a parking lot, but he doesn't get out of the car.
No.
He just cracks the window, and the cop gets out and starts talking to him and says like, we're just trying to figure out what's going on. I would like for you to step out. I'm not arresting you. I just want to detain you for a little bit until we can kind of figure out, what's going on, whose car is this.
Yeah, and Wade's like, nah.
And Wade just rolls the window up. He says a few things to him, but it's very kind of mixed match. Like it doesn't really make sense. And Wade just rolls the window up, and the guy's like, don't do that. Don't go anywhere. And Wade just drives off. Mm-hmm. And apparently it wasn't warranting a police chase. So the cop just had to like kind of lost him.
Yeah.
So yeah, luckily they did find him a couple days later when he breaks into this house.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, thankfully that family wasn't home.
Oh, I know.
Because he just found a house that he liked.
Yep.
It wasn't
pretty
even
much.
like a vacant house that he went and found.
Right. I'm sure he watched it for a little while, but I mean, he was kind of in a hurry. He
Yeah,
needed,
that's what I'm
he needed
saying.
shelter quick.
It's not like he went to some like dilapidated part of town and found like a
Right.
vacant, empty, rundown house. It's like, no, he found a house and was like, I like that one.
Yeah, he's not like the roof man.
Yeah.
He can't hold up in Circuit City for months.
Not at this time. Not this day and age, Michael.
Nope. But even though he was arrested almost immediately, it would take nearly 4 years for Wade to be brought to trial. Basically because of all of these other charges that were being brought to light. And he tried to escape, which we'll get into that.
And COVID. Let's not forget.
And COVID.
He gets arrested at the end of 2019, and then
That's right.
2020 happens.
Very
So
true.
A lot
COVID.
of trials got kind of delayed.
Yeah, COVID really slowed things down. But the trial finally took place in July of 2024. And during the penalty phase of Wade's trial, the 12 jurors had the option of recommending life in prison without parole or death. And it's worth noting that now, due to a recent change, Florida juries don't have to be unanimous and can recommend the death with as few as 8 votes.
That sounds more Texas than Florida, but I believe it still.
No, Florida's pretty savage.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why Ted Bundy wanted to go there. He's like, I want to be put to death.
I feel like Texas is like, hey, if we got one that votes for it, that's fair enough for us, all right?
Yeah. Good enough.
But no, like, and
We
also
want
remember,
everybody to feel safe.
and people need to understand that one of the reasons we found this case too is because during his trial in 2024 is when he started becoming a bit more well known, unfortunately. Because his trial, he shows up with the face tattoos now. He's got the big, stitchings on his mouth and all these just crazy looking face tattoos.
His lawyer hates his ass, man.
Oh my
like,
God,
really?
yes.
Really?
I feel like his lawyer is the most defeated public defender.
He's like, can I just spray makeup on you? Like, what the fuck?
Can I just hit you with some beige?
Can I just close your eyes? You're killing me out here.
But yeah, he started making more like kind of becoming well known after his trial when people started seeing him.
He just kind of leaned into it.
Yeah, and he's kind of had these like celebrity things that have touched on it and stuff. So he's gaining this notoriety now, especially due to his appearance.
Yeah, I think Jelly Roll's wife reached out to him and wanted to do like basically a docuseries.
Yeah.
On his crimes and everything, and he got like all creepy. He started like giving her number out to random strangers.
Yeah, he like sent her number out to people.
She was like, "Okay, this sucks."
Yeah, you actually are a piece of shit. Okay, cool.
Pretty much. And on June 25th, 2024, the jury voted 9-3 in Melton's case and 10-2 in Ruiz's case in favor of the death penalty, which was passed down on Tuesday, August 27th, 2024 by Judge Thompson, just this year, Andy. But Wade was not quite done with his court appearances, as we alluded to earlier, and was actually back in court on August 29th of this year, just 2 days later, to resolve unrelated drug and attempted escape charges that he racked up while in custody in the Lee County Jail. Okay, so this happened in 2020, the escape, where Wilson and his cellmate were accused of tampering with a window in the Lee County jail cell. Wilson, who was reportedly the primary planner and instigator of the escape, also tried to set up a getaway car. He said, "Make sure it ain't a manual, you son of a bitch."
This better be a goddamn automatic. Swear to God, that thing shows up with a stick shift. You're fucking next.
I swear to God. But deputies searched their 10-by-10 cell, and they found that the window had been tampered with. The metal frame that held the window in had been removed, and there were several cracks in the thick security glass. Wilson was charged with attempted escape and criminal mischief.
I love that charge.
Criminal mischief.
You mischievous bastard.
Right? It's like Charles Bronson's number one charge. The charges were dropped in 2024 as part of the plea agreement involving the drug charges.
Yeah.
So
I feel like they were almost like laughing at his escape attempt.
I know,
just being
right?
like, no, you idiot.
Just the window? Really? Like we wouldn't have thought of that? The fucking window?
You think you're trying to go out the window?
The window.
There's a fucking gate past it. There's a yard and guards and what are you, stupid?
What are you doing?
Oh, did you call an Uber?
Right. But because of all this legal bullshit, his move to death row was on hold while the criminal charges were accumulating and pending and all that good stuff.
Yeah, that's the only time he thought he could escape. He said,
Exactly.
before I get put on death row,
Exactly.
I'm not getting out of there.
So here's what he pleaded to and all of it. He pled to no contest to charges of attempted trafficking in amphetamine or methamphetamine between 28 and 200 grams and conspiracy to traffic methamphetamine. And then he received a 12-year sentence to run concurrently to the death sentences.
We're going to kill you, and then we're going to keep you for 12 more years. We're going to put you in a box for 12 years in a cell.
Just let you rot. You're going to serve your time, buddy.
That is the fucking best. I love the idea of being like, we're going to run concurrently to your death penalty. It's like, well, which one comes first? Not the one you think.
Not the one you think. But just after 1:30 a.m. the next morning, Wilson was transferred from Lee County Jail to Florida's death row at Union Correctional Institution, which is located in Rayford, Florida, about 45 miles southwest of Jacksonville. Now, capital cases like Wade's are automatically appealed to the Florida Supreme Court. And if the Supreme Court affirms the conviction and sentence, most defendants will then ask the Supreme Court to review it, right? Most capital defendants continue to pursue their cases in court even after losing appeals. So if Wilson loses all appeals and is denied executive clemency by the governor, he can be executed once the governor issues a death warrant. So you see what I'm getting at here? This is a very long process.
Yeah.
This motherfucker going to be around for a long time.
He was already waiting for
take
4 years. He was already waiting for 4 years just to
Yes.
get sentenced. And it's like, we've seen how long death row cases take now.
I'm trying to give you, trying to give you an ending here, but we don't really know how long this man's going to be alive. For instance, there's a man named Tommy Ziegler who's been on Florida's death row since 1976. Andy.
Jesus.
And listen what he did. On fucking Christmas Eve, 1975, he was 30 years old at the time. Tommy Ziegler was charged for the quadruple murder of his wife, her parents, and another man at his family-owned furniture store. He was tried and convicted on July 2nd, 1976, and he was sentenced to death on July 16th, 1976. And he's still alive.
Yeah, like I feel like we just found one of our Christmas stories we're covering this year.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Looking old Ziegler. But here's a statistic for you. In 2020, the national average time for from sentencing to execution was 227 months.
Damn. I mean, you want to say like that feels like a long time, but at the same time, you always want to remember that like how many of those times have we actually found that a person on death row was innocent, was exonerated, was discovered later on,
No doubt.
because of DNA or because of appeals, because of evidence, because something happened.
Yeah.
Finding out a death row inmate was innocent, and it's like, even though there's that tiny percentage, it's like we have to hold on to that percentage. It's like, give them as much time as possible to make sure they are sure. If they're going to do this, you better fucking make sure you're sure.
I think the urgency should depend upon the crime. And also, like, you know how you only have to have 8 votes for a death penalty or whatever? I feel like if you only have 8, then I feel like they should be way bottom of the list.
Yeah.
Way bottom of the list to execute. We had 4 people that were unsure for real. It's like, nah, they need to be way down. But like, you got a solid 12 out of 12.
Yeah.
We might bump you up a little bit.
Like I said,
like I feel like it should be case to case.
I've talked about my beliefs like on the death penalty. I'm not really for it. But if your state's going to say you're doing the death penalty, you better give them as much time as possible to prove without a shadow of a doubt that this is the guilty party that you are choosing to put to death.
Yeah.
Like, so if your state's going to do that, yeah, I understand like the 227 months might seem like a long time, but that tiny percentage of innocent people on there need as much time as possible sometimes.
No, for sure.
To prove their innocence.
No, they always
This
do.
man, I don't think
He
there's...
is not innocent. He's got all types of crazy stories he's been coming out with now. He's just eating up the attention, man. He's talked about he's in human traffic conspiracies. People were trying to frame him, silence him, or he had to kill these people because he was made to. It was them or him or whatever. He's just coming out with all kinds of crazy shit now. He has no proof.
Yeah, you're just a douchebag who snapped.
That's all it is.
It's bound to happen one day.
Yep. And then, like I said, Bunny XO, Jelly Roll's wife, she reached out to him and then just gave him this whole other platform inadvertently. I'm not saying she did it on purpose. Like, I feel like she was genuinely wanting to do a documentary on this and just kind of get ahead of the curve, whatnot. But the guy was just a dick. And she also realized he's full of shit.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not worth doing a documentary if it's cut and dry. Like, if you talk to him and you're like, he's just lying.
Yeah.
Like, it's just obvious that this is just a last-ditch effort. This man has nothing to lose. He's literally going to be executed twice. Like, he has nothing to lose.
Yeah.
So he's got to come out with some crazy story to still be relevant.
Yeah, to try and just divert attention away
Right?
so that people
It's
focus on that.
When you've been in jail for years, in prison for years, and then a story comes out, I'm just like, no, I don't believe you. You've had all this time to think about it. You have nothing else to do. Mm-hmm. I don't believe you now.
Yeah, I don't believe you either.
Like,
that would have been, if that was the truth, that would have came out as soon as you got arrested.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
it's like there's no chance.
And there are, guys, I encourage you, though, to go, if you are interested in this case, there's so much extra content. I'm sure I used some sound clips throughout the episode. I always do that in post. But there are so many interesting audio clips in regards to this case. There are conversations between Wade and his, now ex-girlfriend, like long, extensive conversations where he's talking about this shit, how he was framed and all this stuff. There's the conversation. There's the the court video of his dad's testimony, which is probably one of the most powerful videos in regards to this case. Like, I just don't understand how you don't believe that man. Mm-hmm. Like, he just seems, he's just, you can't make that shit up.
No, you can tell that he's not liking to have to repeat what he said.
No, and his story is exactly the same every time he says it. Mm-hmm. Every time. So this case is just cut and dry, and it's just terrifying. I think he was just someone who was a lifetime criminal who just kept escalating. Mm-hmm. They kept getting away with stuff. They kept getting a slap on the wrist, 9 months in prison here, 10 months here, whatever. They get out. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And I think he was just escalating. Or maybe he had killed people before. Maybe he really was a hitman.
Maybe,
but I just don't see it.
No.
At 25 years old, I think he just wanted to kill someone.
Oh,
I think he was escalating. I mean, he had all these assault and battery charges. He had kidnapping, man. Mm-hmm. Kidnapping and assault, like
child cruelty.
You're one little step away.
Yeah,
exactly.
This was
if you're willing to do this shit, you'll kill somebody.
Yeah, this was a douchebag guy who was trying to be badass. He was trying to be hard, trying to be, a gangster type person.
Yep.
And he ended up just snapping. Like you said, this was almost like one of those cases where this guy should have been locked up a long time ago, with the fact that how many times he had, these violent charges against him, these run-ins with the law, these different jail stints here and there. It's like, the last time when his girlfriend, a woman attacked or said he attacked her, and there was like, well, there's no probable cause. No, his fucking record is your probable cause.
Exactly.
Like, absolutely, this man has probable cause for that.
And you can't tell me she has no bruises, no busted lips, no black. Come on, man.
Yeah, you can't tell me that you can't prove it.
Especially as big as he is. Come on.
Yeah, there's no question. Like I said, there's been so many times in our history of near misses with the police and all these almost catches, and it's because things like this where there's there's no probable cause to search this car, and it's got blood everywhere. Well, he said he was working on a movie.
Well, I do think that we caught a serial killer, or at least a spree killer. Mm-hmm. I guess he technically is still a spree killer, but I think we caught a potential serial killer right at the beginning. That's what I think.
Possibly,
I think he was escalating. He got off on this. And, we say, why? Why kill someone just for their car? Why not just knock her out and take the car, right? Mm-hmm. And then maybe he thought, I'll just choke her out, and when she blacks out, I'll leave, but she died.
Maybe. Yeah, because it's he killed this woman. He didn't know what to do with her body after a while. Thought he was just going to put her in the trunk. Maybe it wasn't. Yeah. I don't know. This guy seems like a douchebag who's now got a bunch of face tattoos because he's trying to seem more badass. He's trying to seem tougher. He's trying to seem more, gangster or whatever.
When you're due to do life in prison, so shit, you might as well lean into it. Like I said.
Yeah, I don't believe he was a professional hitman by any means.
Hell no.
At 25 years old, looking like that, you're in jail for like I said, stealing a firearm. No. Yeah, you're not a professional hitman.
Not at all. Not at all. We can smell a fraud from a mile away.
Like they're wearing
Oh My Gaia.
Like they're not wearing Oh My Gaia.
Like they're not wearing Oh My Gaia.
I can smell this bullshit from a mile away.
What is this? Your aluminum-filled bullshit.
I don't even think Oh My Gaia could cover up this amount of bullshit, though.
I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot. Oh My Gaia is an innovative all-natural deodorant, fragrance, and beard oil company specializing in paraben and aluminum-free products. Their innovative line of deodorants inhibit the growth of odor-causing bacteria while still maintaining effectiveness. And guys, Oh My Gaia has a scent for you, I promise, at ohmygaia.com. That's OHMYGAIA.com. And you can also get those scents in scented oils and beard oils, guys. I know that winter is coming up. You're going to want to keep that face warm, but you got to keep that beard healthy if you want to do that.
Winter is coming, folks.
That's right. And there's tons of scents to choose from vanilla, cherry almond, sandalwood, lavender, lemongrass, Egyptian musk, coconut, dreamsicle, leather, lumberjack, honeysuckle, fireside, leather, lumberjack, and fireside. Boom. That's all you need for your beard right there. Mm-hmm. Those are perfect beard scents right there. But there's also bergamot amber, pear, sweet pea, sailor, barbershop, another good fresh scent. And one of my personal favorites, true crime pine. I'm a little biased. Andy, because it was made for us.
It's got my face on it.
That's right. I like it. But True Crime Pine, and you can find all these at ohmygaia.com, OHMYGAIA.com. And guess what? There's a new code word. It's not creeper anymore. So quit typing that in because you're not going to get your 15% off.
Not anymore.
You got to use the code word Creepvan. All one word. CREEPVAN. All one word. Creepvan. For 15% off your order at shop_ohmygaia on Instagram or ohmygaia.com. That's ohmygaia.com. All right, you won't regret it, guys. Also, below that Oh My Gaia link, there's probably a Patreon link to True Crime Guys.
There probably is.
Probably is. Patreon.com/True Crime Guys, where you can get these episodes early, much earlier now, because we record almost a week before the episodes come out. You know, early before was, like a day.
For us, yes.
Right. So now, guys, the early release means so much more, I think. But you guys get early releases of these episodes ad-free with bonus content. And there is so much more. There's episodes of Higher Thoughts. There's Strange Shorts. There's Headlines and Shenanigans. There's so much stuff on there.
There's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of files on there, even all the way back to the old files from the early days of myself and Lauren in the TCG vault. You can find it all on Patreon.
Like I said before, baby's got a big back catalog.
That's right. That's right. Speaking of big back catalogs, don't forget to check out our other show, Strange and Unexplained. And don't forget Cryptic Soup. Guys, please go give them a listen. Thina and Kylie, tell them that True Crime Guys sent you over there. But thanks, guys, for listening. Thanks for supporting the show any way you do. If you get the chance to leave a review, please do. And don't forget to subscribe on that YouTube. All right. Case suggestions, you can send them to truecrimeguys@gmail.com. Other than that, I guess you have to keep on a-creeping until next week.
I think the next time you'll see us will be Halloween, folks.
It will, and we'll be... Are we doing headlines? I think we're doing headlines and shenanigans
I think it'll be a Patreon week, so it'll be headlines on Halloween.
So we'll do a creepy episode for Patreon.
There's been a lot of headlines this coming week, too, so it's going to be a spooky episode.
It is, indeed. All right, guys. Well, keep on creeping.
Bye.